It has become inevitably compelling for me to invoke the provision of the Section 305 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, to declare a state of emergency in Rivers State with effect from today, 18th March, year 2025, and I so do. By this declaration, the governor of Rivers State, Mr. Similaye Fubara, his deputy, Mrs. Ngozi Odu, and all elected members of the House of Assembly state are hereby suspended for an initial period of 6 months. In the meantime, I hereby nominate Vice Admiral Advocate Ibas, retired, as administrator to take charge of the affairs of the state in the interest of the good people of Rivers State. For the avoidance of doubt, this declaration does not affect the judicial arm of Rivers State, which shall continue to function in accordance with their constitutional mandate. The administrator will not make any new laws. He will, however, be free to formulate regulations and may be found necessary to do his job, but such regulations will need to be considered and approved by the Federal Executive Council and promoted by the President for the state. This declaration has been published in the Federal Gazette.
That is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu declaring a state of emergency in Rivers State. The effect of this state of emergency is that Tinubu is suspending the governor Similaye Fubara, his deputy Ngozi Odu, and all the members of the House of Assembly for 6 months. Similarly, the president has nominated Vice Admiral Ibokete Ibas, retired, as a military administrator to take charge of the affairs of the state for the first 6 months. As commander of the armed forces, the president have the right to declare state of emergency in any part of the country. Now, this is contained in Section 305 of the 1999 Constitution. The section interprets a state of emergency as a situation of national danger or disaster in which a government suspends normal constitutional procedures to regain control. Now, this is text of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu broadcast declaring a state of emergency in Rivers State on Tuesday, 18 March 2025. Fellow Nigerians, I feel greatly disturbed at the turn we have come to regarding the political crisis in Rivers State. Like many of you, I've watched with concern the development with the hope that the parties involved will allow good sense to prevail at the soonest, but all that hope borne out without any solution to the crisis. With the crisis persisting, there is no way democratic governance, which we have all fought and worked for over the years, can thrive in a way that will redound to the benefit of the good people of Rivers State. The state has been at standstill since the crisis started, with the good people of the state not being able to have access to the dividends of democracy. Also, it is public knowledge that the governor of Rivers State, for unjustifiable reasons, demolished the House of Assembly of the state as far back as 13 December 2023 and has up till now, 14 months after, not rebuilt same. I have made personal interventions between the contending parties for a peaceful resolution of the crisis, but my effort has been largely ignored by the parties to this crisis. I am also aware that many well-meaning Nigerians, leaders of thought and patriotic groups have also intervened at various times with the best of intentions to resolve the matter, but all their efforts were also to no avail. Still, I thank them. On February 28, 2025, the Supreme Court, in a judgment in respect of about 8 consolidated appeals concerning the political crisis in Rivers State, based on several grave unconstitutional acts and disregard of rule of law that have been committed by the governor of Rivers State, as shown by the evidence before it pronounced in every clear terms. A government cannot be said to exist without one of the 3 arms that make up the government of a state under the 1999 Constitution as amended. In this case, the head of the executive arm of the government has chosen to collapse the legislature to enable him to govern without a legislature as a despot. As it is, there is no government in Rivers State. The above pronouncements came after a catalogue of judicial findings of constitutional breaches against the governor Similaye Fubara. Going forward in their judgment, and having found and held that 27 members of the House who had allegedly defected are still valid members of Rivers State's House of Assembly and cannot be prevented from participating in the proceedings of that House by the 8th respondent, that is the governor, in cohort with 4 members. The Supreme Court then made some orders to restore the state to immediate constitutional democracy. These orders include the immediate passing of an appropriation bill by the Rivers State House of Assembly, which up till now has not been facilitated. Some militants had threatened fire and brimstone against their perceived enemy of the governor, who has up till now not disowned them. Apart from that, both the House and the governor have not been able to work together. Both of them do not realize that they are in office to work together for the peace and good governance of the state. The latest security report made available to me showed that between yesterday and today, there have been disturbing incidents of vandalization of pipelines by some militants without the governor taking any action to curtail them. I have, of course, given stern order to the security agencies to ensure safety of life of the good people of Rivers State and the oil pipelines. With all these and many more, no good and responsible president will stand by and allow the grave situation to continue without taking remedial steps prescribed by the Constitution to address the situation in the state, which no doubt requires extraordinary measures to restore good governance, peace, order, and security. In these circumstances, having soberly reflected on the evaluated and political situation in Rivers State and the governor and deputy governor of Rivers State having failed to make a request to me as a president to issue this proclamation as required by Section 305, Subsection 5 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, it has become inevitably compelling for me to invoke the provision of Section 305 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, to declare a state of emergency in Rivers State with effect from today, 18th March 2025, and I so do. By this declaration, the governor of Rivers State, Mr. Similaye Fubara, his deputy, Ms. Ngozi Odo, and all elected members of the House of Assembly of Rivers State are hereby suspended for an initial period of 6 months. In the meantime, I hereby nominate Vice Admiral Ibuketi Ibas, retired, as administrator to take charge of the affairs of the state in the interest of the good people of Rivers State. For the avoidance of doubt, this declaration does not affect the judicial arm of Rivers State, which shall continue to function in accordance with their constitutional mandate. The administrator will not make any new laws. He will, however, be free to formulate regulations as may be found necessary to do his job, but such regulations will need to be considered and approved by the Federal Executive Council and promulgated by the President for the state. This declaration has been published in the Federal Gazette, a copy of which has been forwarded to the National Assembly in accordance with the Constitution. It is in my fervent hope that this inevitable intervention will help to restore peace and order in Rivers State by awakening all the contenders to the constitutional imperative, binding on all political players in Rivers State in particular and Nigeria as a whole. Long live a united, peaceful, secure, and democratic Rivers State in particular, and the Federal Republic of Nigeria as a whole. Now, when you take time to listen to the president's speech, he took his time to blame Similaye Fubara for the political crisis in Rivers State. We are all in Nigeria. We know how this crisis started, and we know who is solely responsible for the political crisis in Rivers State. It is not the governor of Rivers State that is responsible. Similaye Fubara is not the cause of the political crisis in Rivers State. The president's FCT minister, Nyesom Wike, who ruled Rivers State for 8 years, is solely responsible for the crisis in Rivers State. Nyesom Wike has been the one instigating the political tension in Rivers State. The 27 lawmakers loyal to Nyesom Wike, they all defected to the APC, and the law is clear about defection. The electoral law, as amended in 2022, clearly states that anyone that defects to another political party automatically loses his seat, and this law is also contained in the 1999 Constitution in the Section 68, subsection 1, subsection G. Clearly state that you lose your seat when you defect to another political party, unless your political party is in crisis unless your political party has merged with another political party. The Supreme Court was meant to interpret this law and pass judgment, but just like we have experienced over time, the Supreme Court overturned the Nigerian Constitution, overturned the electoral law, and allowed the 27 lawmakers loyal to Nyesom Wike to continue sitting in the Rivers State House of Assembly. The moment that judgment was passed, Nyesom Wike granted a media chat where he boasted that Fubara will be impeached and nothing will happen. Nothing will happen. Why hasn't the president cautioned Nyesom Wike? Why hasn't the president suspended Nyesom Wike? Nyesom Wike is the one that is instigating the political crisis in Rivers State, using his 27 lawmakers that are loyal to him. The president is not blaming Nyesom Wike, but he is blaming the governor, who has been patient with these lawmakers, who have received all manner of threats and abuse from these lawmakers. The plan is very simple. I said it before that all they wanted to do is to declare a state of emergency in Rivers State, and they have succeeded in declaring a state of emergency in Rivers State. What this means is that the structure, the organs in Rivers State now belong to the president, just like you heard the president said that the administrator can make new laws to help him govern, but these laws must be promulgated by the Federal Executive Council, which the president and Nyesom Wike is part of that council. That means Nyesom Wike, having ruled Rivers State for 8 years, is still indirectly ruling Rivers State, and the president is happy. All of this is because of politics. All of this is because of 2027 general election. They want to have easy access to Rivers State Treasury so that they can use it to execute that 2027 general election. They want to have access to the Rivers State structure so that they can use it to rig the election for Bola Ahmed Tinubu. They don't care about the Rivers State people. They don't care about the inconveniences this is going to cause to them. They don't care about the cutting short of freedom of the people in Rivers State. All that cares to them is politics and how to win election in 2027. But it pains me because some of you have been supporting this move. You have been supporting the president. You have been supporting Nyesom Wike. And some of you are indigenous of Rivers State. Two politicians are fighting and you are taking sides. These two people that are fighting, they have made their way. They've cleared their path. They have secured their future, the future of their next generation. You, the Rivers State people, you will be the one to suffer the brunt of this political crisis. Rather than coming out to support your governor, the governor of the state deserves the support because he is the executive governor of Rivers State. Anything he does affects you, but some of you are taking side. You are supporting an FCT minister that has no executive power to affect your life. Now there is a state of emergency in your state. Most of you do not know what it means. What it means is that soldiers will be everywhere in Rivers State. They will tell you when and when to go out. They will tell you when and when to come in. They will tell you where to go and where not to go. Most of you will be searched while going to your office. There are places you will pass and you have to lift up your hands because soldiers are there. Well, welcome to a new Rivers State. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.